Shabbat Shalom. Ma nora hamakom hazeh. How awesome is this place? These are Jacob's words when he awoke from his evening of dreams, depicted in our tapestry to the right. Some of my most miraculous moments here at Bethel have been when our young people have trusted me enough to share their sexual orientation or gender identity. When they have said, "Rabbi, I'm gay, I'm bisexual, I'm non-binary, I'm trans," I know that hearing these words can be challenging for some families. And I don't take this lightly. And I don't expect that everyone's answer will be the same as mine. I will share that when I hear those words, "Rabbi, I'm gay," my response, and this is for all identities, for all children, my response when they trust me with that is celebration. Immediate celebration, without hesitation. I say, "Mazel tov, I am so happy for you. That is wonderful. I love that about you." Because they need to know that when they show us their authentic selves, that we will be proud of who they are. As someone who has come out to people, I have come out to people throughout my life. I have said I'm a lesbian, I'm part of the LGBTQ community. I know that coming out is something we do over and over again, and I know what it feels like in that moment, waiting for someone's response. What will it be? Last night I spoke about the importance of authenticity in our community, of being authentic in our relationship with each other now and with our tradition. Because when we bring our whole selves here, when we engage in challenging conversations, and this is one, we are more connected to and respectful of each other and our past and our future. This morning, I will reflect on a deeply challenging text from our tradition, from our Torah, and how it has been interpreted in our history, in Jewish legal history. And I will offer us a charge moving forward. 2 verses in the Torah have been interpreted to outlaw all same-sex relationships. In societies that see our Torah as a sacred text, so that's the Jewish world, the Christian world, non-Jewish people too, these words have instigated thousands of years of oppression and harassment, exclusion, discrimination, and violence. The most well-known verse, "Ve'et zachar lo tishkav mishkavei isha toeva hi." This is, God says, in the words of God, a commandment, "Do not lie with a man as one lies with a woman." It is a toeva. It is an abomination. The Torah then restates this law in the parsha that we read today and adds the most severe punishment possible, the death penalty. We read today, "If a man lies with a man as one lies with a woman, the 2 of them have done an abhorrent act. They shall be put to death. Their blood guilt is upon them." So first I want to acknowledge again that this topic is difficult and uncomfortable for some of us, for maybe everyone, maybe all of us in different ways. So I ask that you stay with me if you can. These biblical laws have a clear, plain meaning and purpose to prohibit one particular sexual act between men. That relatively narrow prohibition, in the words in the Torah, have been expanded by our rabbinic tradition beyond what is actually written in the Torah to prohibit all same-sex intimacy. So, you might wonder, how do I get to be a rabbi? How am I a rabbi? Right? I'm in that group. I have skin in that game. The conservative movement allowed gay and lesbian Jews to become rabbis in 2006. Many of you studied that decision with me in our Skolnik course in our Adult Education Institute. In the words of that decision, the halachic, the legal status quo is deeply degrading to gay and lesbian Jews. Citing a teaching from Pirkei Avot, the ethical teachings of our ancestors in the Mishnah, Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Yehi chavod chavarecha chaviv alecha keshelach. Rabbi Eliezer says, let your neighbor's dignity be as precious as your own. Let another's dignity be as important to you as your own dignity. Human dignity is a core Jewish value that has halachic, that has legal status, meaning it gets weight when we make legal decisions. Human dignity. So this modern decision from 2006, while it does not overturn that more narrow biblical prohibition, it does hold that the core Jewish value of human dignity overrides the ways in which our tradition, the later rabbinic tradition, has expanded more than those two verses. So contracting some of that outlaw status for the sake of human dignity. In law, we are always weighing values. The value of honoring the rabbinic tradition in one way, in the way it's been interpreted around same-sex intimacy, relationships, that is a value, to honor that tradition. Another value in our rabbinic tradition is to value human dignity, not to embarrass people, not to degrade them. So we're always weighing values. And this decision held that the weight of human dignity is heavier, is more authoritative, is going to win over the weight we afford that rabbinic tradition that expanded the category. I hope you're with me. I know that's a lot. In 2006, this holding was new. This might be hard, this might be surprising. This was new, brand new in the conservative movement. Gay and lesbian Jews are to be welcomed into our synagogues and other institutions as full members with no restrictions. Some of us, it's hard to even remember that this needed to be decided, that this needed to be said. And some of us, a generation that I know, who were my teachers, remember what it was like to be either in Jewish institutions at that time before the decision, or who actually left and could not be a part of the Jewish world, could not have full Jewish lives because they were not welcome in synagogues, in the synagogue they would naturally want to go to. And so first I want to say I'm grateful to the generations before me who made it possible for me to be here today. In the 16 years since that decision, the Jewish world has made enormous progress in welcoming not only gay and lesbian people, but LGBTQ people, the larger LGBTQ community. And doing things like hiring a lesbian rabbi for a shul like Bethel. We have made progress, and I want to outline for us a spectrum of that progress. Here's how I see it. We have tolerance, we have inclusion, and then we have celebration. So I'm going to share what each of those means to me, and while I'm sharing, I'm going to invite you to think about where is Bethel in this spectrum? Tolerance, inclusion, celebration. Where is Bethel? Where are you in that spectrum? Tolerance. Tolerance is allowing someone in the door, that their presence will not cause upset or too much controversy, that they are allowed in despite the ways in which they're different, forgiven enough for the ways in which they're different to be let in the door. Tolerance implies that there is something to tolerate, that there is a challenge, that the community is struggling to allow them in our community, struggling in a really good and beautiful direction, but still struggling. So that's okay. That's tolerance. Tolerance. Inclusion means we've done pretty well at the tolerance. We've done pretty well at tolerance. So we're working on including LGBTQ people as full members of our community. We do not intentionally exclude them, and we try to include them as much as possible, and we sometimes miss opportunities to offer them a full welcome because they're in and we're trying, we want to do our best, we're trying to understand, we're stretching ourselves and trying to understand who they are on a deeper level. But we want to understand, we want them here. So, starting with those two, let's just take a moment to think. Where are we as a community, and where is each of us as an individual? Tolerance, inclusion. My next question, maybe a harder question, is inclusion our ultimate goal? Is that if we can do inclusion perfectly, beautifully, if we're experts at inclusion, is that it? Is that the gold standard? Question. I'll answer with a story. I am proud of my identity as a lesbian. Anyone who knows me knows that. And as we are getting to know each other, more and more of you will know that about me, and I will know things about you. In my many conversations with people throughout my life, I can't tell you how many times someone has said to me, when I have shared, I'm a lesbian, and remember, there's that tender moment when you say who you are, and you wait for the reaction. I can't tell you how many times someone has said, so I say, I'm a lesbian. Someone has said, that's okay, I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I'm good. I don't care. That's okay. And this and with the best intentions, the most sincere, loving intentions to reassure me that they don't care, meaning they're not going to treat me differently, they're not going to discriminate against me, that coming from a really kind and thoughtful and loving and respectful place, people say to me all the time, I don't care. Being a lesbian is a core piece of who I am. It's a core piece of my identity. I am happy about who I am. I love who I am. I am proud of who I am. And so hearing I don't care is hard. Looking to the future, I'm okay. But looking to the future, what do we want for our children? When they show us who they are, what do we want them to hear from us and from other people, from the world around them? We have to ask ourselves, do we want them to hear, essentially, a nice, really loving version of, I don't care? Is that what we want them to hear? My hope for us is that we can move from inclusion to celebration as a community and as individuals. By sharing that we are happy and proud of who each of us is, that we love all the different identities that we each have, that we create a culture of pride in ourselves and in each other. I am here for this journey. I invite you to talk to me about LGBTQ or any other identity. I want to hear your feelings and your process, even if you haven't figured it out, even if you're worried you will say the wrong thing. I'm here. I can take it. Let's have the conversation. Let's talk through what to say, how to be present, what to say when our children tell us who they are, what to say when we share with each other who we are. I promise to meet you where you are. And even more, I am proud of you and all of who you are. And I hope that you are proud of me and all of who I am. I could not be more fortunate than to be in this community. I know that. And so I invite you to join me in this work. This is holy work to move our community from wherever we are. Tolerance, inclusion. I think we're in inclusion space. Let's move from inclusion to inclusion plus celebration. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.